So what's the best brand?
Canada Goose.
Louis Vuitton.
Montclair.
Burberry.
Gucci. Hello listeners and welcome to Behind the Seams, your fashion podcast guide to streetwear clothing and all things fashion. Today we have a very special guest, international reseller Dylan John. He's here to talk to us about all things reselling and his own tips and tricks of the trade. So let's get into it. Streetwear is huge now, from sneakers to luxury brands, but it didn't start in high fashion, so let's take a look. Streetwear started in the late 70s and early 80s, mainly in New York and LA. It grew out of youth culture, hip-hop, skateboarding and even surfing. People weren't trying to follow trends, they were dressing for self-expression and everyday life. So it was more about the culture than the clothing itself. In New York, hip-hop influenced oversized fits, sneakers and sportswear. On the West Coast, skaters wore more graphic tees, loose pants and durable shoes like Vans. This was because you could buy one shoe at a time with Vans, and is what skaters needed when ruining one shoe at a time with doing ollies. A big turning point was Sean Stussy in the early 80s. He started selling t-shirts with his signature on them, mixing surf, skate and music. That DIY approach helped shape modern streetwear brands for today. Streetwear spread through communities, small shops, limited releases, word of mouth. It felt exclusive because you had to be part of the culture to understand it, and that idea still drives through streetwear today. But let's talk about why. Why has streetwear become so dominant? A big part of it is social media. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok gave people the ability to flex their style and show off their collections to global audience. Streetwear isn't just about clothes anymore, it's about the community, the culture and the story behind the pieces. It's all about exclusivity, scarcity and the feeling of being part of something bigger than yourself. But while the hype is real, there's also a deeper meaning behind it. Streetwear has always been about the underdog. It's about standing out, breaking norms, challenging the establishment. It's fashion that speaks to people from all walks of life. Because let's be real, the streets have always set the trends, not the runways. But here's the million-dollar question. Is streetwear dying? Some say the oversaturation of collabs and resell culture is watering down the original essence of streetwear. And sure, every rapper and influencer seems to have their own line, so you start to wonder if it's still special. But then again, is it really about what's cool and what's popular? Or maybe is it just about doing your own thing and looking fresh while doing it? So whether you're one of the OGs that's still rocking the vibes since the 90s, or a newcomer trying to find your style, streetwear will always have the same core. The expression of who you are, where you come from, and where you're headed. It's more than just fashion. It's a movement. And as long as people are finding new ways to blend the old with the new, streetwear will keep evolving. Supreme was founded in 1994 in New York City by James Jabaya. The brand was designed specifically for skateboarders. The story goes that Jabaya wanted to create a store where skaters could buy clothing that actually matched the skate culture of time. Clothes that felt authentic to a scene but weren't your typical skate brand. Supreme's first store opened in Manhattan's Playfair Street, more like a skate shop than a fashion boutique with a concrete floor and a big open space. But inside there was a twist. Jabaya was selling clothes that weren't just for skating, they were for everyone who wanted to embrace that vibe. Did you know that Supreme's box logo, which is probably the most recognisable logo in streetwear, was inspired by a work of a pop artist called Barbara Kruger? The font and the red and white design came from her art, which famously used slogans like "I shop, therefore I am." Talk about blending art with fashion. Now here's something I think we should really talk about. The rise of sustainable street. Brands like Patagonia, Cold Wall and Pangaria are leading the way into blending street style with sustainability. But wait, it's not just about making clothes that are good for the planet, it's about making them look good too. We're seeing materials like recycled fabrics, organic cotton and vegan leather making their way into collections that still keep a streetwear's edge. And here's where it gets interesting. Streetwear isn't just about the clothes, it's about the self-expression. It's about how you match the vintage Supreme hoodie with a pair of high-end jeans. It's about how you rock a £200 pair of shoes with a DIY patch jacket. It's less about looking perfect and creating your own version of cool. Streetwear has come a long way from its humble beginnings. Today it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that impacts everything from luxury fashion to global politics to social media. It's all about style, community and being a part of something bigger. And you know what? Whether it's you're rocking the latest drop or just vibing your personal look, you're still part of it all. Reselling isn't just about flipping sneakers or making extra cash. It's become a powerful force for sustainability, creativity, and community within fashion. First, let's talk about sustainability. The fashion industry is one of the largest contributors to global waste. Brands like Zara and H&M have helped popularise fast fashion. Trendy, affordable clothing produced quickly. For the downside, millions of garments end up in landfills every year. Reselling extends the life of clothing. Instead of tossing out pieces after a season, they can get a second, third, or fourth life, which reduces waste and lowers demand for new production. Second, reselling creates opportunity. Platforms like Depop, StockX, and The RealReal turn everyday fashion lovers into entrepreneurs. People can build businesses from their closets, and it democratises fashion. You don't need to work for a major brand to participate in the industry anymore. Reselling also keeps culture alive. Limited sneaker drops from brands like Nike or collaborations that sell out instantly don't just disappear. The resale market keeps them circulating, letting more people access pieces that might otherwise be impossible to find. And maybe, and yet most importantly, reselling builds community. Buyers and sellers connect over shared style, shared taste, and shared values. It shifts fashion from disposable consumption to intentional curation. So whether you're thrifting vintage denim, collecting rare sneakers, or running a resale page on your Instagram, you're contributing to a more sustainable, creative, and connected fashion world. However, resellers are becoming bigger and bigger, and that's why Dylan's here today to talk us through reselling and why it could still be a viable option for streetwear fashion. Alright Dylan, so what's your favourite clothing brand and why?
I'd probably go for Canada Goose because it comes with the exceptional quality and warmth in the winter, and then also the luxury side as well.
Ah, brilliant. What's something you look for when buying an item of clothing and why?
I look for high quality, well fitting to my arms and the length. I also look for something that's a bit different and not mainstream.
So Dylan, where do you buy the majority of your clothes?
It depends on the item, either through online websites such as Moncler, Canada Goose, but at the same time I like to use Vinted for cheaper prices.
What is your favourite item of clothing you own up to date and why?
Probably my navy Dior B30 trainers because they're expensive and people often comment on them.
So Dylan, what made you get into selling clothes?
Often videos on social media when I was younger, and seeing guys in Liverpool, for example, the shop, the Block P, really inspired me to get into it myself.
How old were you when you first started selling clothes?
It was just before lockdown. I was probably 12, 13.
Can you remember your first sale? And if so, who and where was it?
Yes, it was in Liverpool up to a guy that I met on Facebook Marketplace. It was a pair of Jordan 5 trainers.
Have you ever sold any clothes to any famous people, Dylan? And if so, will we know who they are? Who are they?
About 6 months ago, I got a train down to London to sell a pair of MX95s to Nines, the rapper.
Oh wow, I do know Nines, that's very cool. What mistakes would you say people make when buying clothes for the first time?
I think people follow trends too much and don't find their own unique pieces.
Did you have any inspiration when it came to selling clothes for the first time?
Yeah, I've got a mate from Oxford called Faris who is a year older than me, and he sort of showed me the path of how to get involved, and it really inspired me.
What is your most expensive piece of clothing you own at the moment, and how much did it cost you?
Probably my discontinued B22 Dior trainers, and they cost me about 1,300.
If you had to describe your own personal fashion sense in 2 words or less, what would you say?
Designer and streetwear.
Wow! How supportive were your family members when it came to you selling clothes?
My dad was very supportive. When I first started, he gave me £200 to see if I could get a business going.
At the moment, what would you say your most popular item of clothing to sell is?
Probably the MX 95s, and in terms of the colours, it was probably the OGs, maybe the neons or crystal blues.
And finally, Dylan, what advice would you give to anyone who's just starting to sell clothes?
It's all about networking and building up a good relationship with clients.
And that's a wrap for this episode. And we'd like to thank you for listening in and supporting the podcast. Come back in a fortnight for our next episode on the culture and beginnings of luxury fashion. Thank you for tuning in to Behind the Seams.